Okay, once again, Kenny Jacobs from Bloomington, Illinois. My videos talk both about how to improve your golf game, as well as being a Christian and living in the last days. Well, it doesn't feel much like golf weather today. The wind chill's 45 degrees below zero right now. But I got to thinking maybe you'll be stuck inside and want to work on your putting a little bit. So we're going to talk about that today, and I'm going to give you a little quick background story. Jim Furyk's dad is a teaching professional, and he's the only teacher that Jim has ever had. But I think it was the year 1962, Jim's dad was at a PGA Tour event, and he got to ask Arnold Palmer a question. And he asked him, if you got to do anything different in your career, what would you have done differently? And Arnold Palmer said, I would have putted cross-handed, or we call it left-hand low today. Well, later on in the day, he met up with Gary Player and asked him the same question, and Gary Player had no idea that he'd asked Palmer this question, didn't know what Palmer's answer was, and Gary Player said the same thing. I would have putted left-hand low or cross-handed. So that's what Jim's dad started Jim with, was left-hand low or cross-handed putting, and it's the only way Jim has ever putted. Now, that year in and year out, Jim's one of the best putters on the PGA Tour. That's the only way he's ever putted, and it is a great way to putt. If you get a little bit yippy with your stroke and you struggle with the short ones, you feel like you get a little bit wristy, cross-handed or left-hand low if you're a right-handed player is a great way to putt because it gets your shoulders more level to the ground, which will help you keep the putter on line and keep the putter head lower to the ground throughout the stroke. But it also allows you to get the left arm and the putter moving together as one, which really helps eliminate some twisting of the putter face, as well as keeping the putter on a better line throughout the stroke. It kind of makes your left arm and shaft work together better, and when you swing through impact, you can kind of pull with your left arm and your left shoulder, your left wrist and elbow, and just kind of keep that shaft in line, and it really keeps the putter head lower to the ground. It can really help you make more short putts for sure. It's a great way to practice. In fact, you could even modify that a little bit to practice by taking your right hand and clamping the grip of the golf club against your left forearm when you make practice strokes that way and practice putting that way. Bernard Longer actually won a Masters putting that way one year. Anything you can do to get the left arm, left wrist, and shaft and putter face to move together and down the line and to eliminate some twisting of the putter will really help you. Okay, now, I also want to talk about a recent quick development over in Israel that could have some end-time Bible prophecy connotations to it, and that is the former Prime Minister Ariel Sharon has been in a coma for several years, I think since 2007 when he had a stroke, and right now his organs are failing and he's on his deathbed, not going to live much longer. Well, the reason that may be important is a rabbi by the name of Yitzhak Kaduri, who was 108 years old when he died, back in 2006, had a prophecy and a vision, and he wrote down, he said that the Messiah had appeared to him. And so he basically wrote the name of the Messiah on a card and sealed it, had it sealed for a year. And he said that the Messiah would appear to Israel shortly after the death of Ariel Sharon. And when they opened up the card and read it, this rabbi, this well-respected rabbi and author and counselor in Israel, well-respected theologian, had written down that the Messiah is Jesus, which obviously came to a shock to a lot of the Jewish people because they don't believe Jesus is the Messiah. But this 108-year-old rabbi said Jesus is the Messiah, and he's been appearing to me, and that he is going to return to Israel shortly after the death of Ariel Sharon. Now, I don't know that that's really going to happen. It's not a biblical prophecy. That's a end-time kind of prophecy given to a man, a vision. But I do know that the Bible says in the last days God will pour out His Spirit upon all flesh, and your old men will have visions, and they'll be dreaming dreams, and there very well could be some validity to it. God's ways are strange ways, and I think He's going to do everything He can to wake up the people around the world as well as the Israel people. So it could be, and if that's the case, how close are we when Ariel Sharon is basically on his deathbed. So just one more sign. We are living in the last days. If you're not ready, get your heart right with Jesus while you still can. All the signs are here. Thank you.